Your success is worthless. Ralph's the only son who counts, my mother sneered, skipping my law graduation just to dump cash into his sinking little startup. Fine. Then watch me erase you all for good, I spat, sealing their cries in silence, crushing his endless demands. That spoiled parasite was nothing but a leech in a cheap suit, a useless beggar dressed up as a businessman. But what followed shattered their golden boy's empire, leaving him choking on the ashes of his own failure, a fraud exposed, a clown stripped naked in the crowd. Don't you dare raise your voice at me, Nathan. Ralph is building something real, and you... What have you done? A useless law degree? A piece of paper? My mother snapped, her words sharp as broken glass. Real? I shot back. You call that dumpster fire of a startup real? He's bleeding money, and you're feeding him like some wounded dog. You couldn't even show up at my graduation. You were too busy wiring another bailout to him. My brother leaned back in his leather chair, smirking like a Wall Street reject. Face it, Nate. I'm the one they believe in. Always have, always will. You're just bitter because no one bets on losers. My name's Nathan Hale, 24 years old, law graduate. The kind of son who stayed up late rewriting scholarship essays because mom wouldn't sign the financial aid forms on time. The kind of son who worked nights in a library so my brother could burn cash at networking parties. I should have been proud today. Instead, I felt like a ghost in my own family. I wasn't angry anymore, just cold, hollow, like someone waiting for the final knife twist. Introduce the family member's mother, Eleanor Hale, 62. Retired teacher, bitter, clings to Ralph like he's her second chance at life. Father, Thomas Hale, 65. Recently retired postal worker, quiet, guilty eyes, never stands up for me. Brother, Ralph Hale, 28. Startup founder with zero profit but visionary in their eyes. Entitled, smug, reckless, and me, always the afterthought. Do you even hear yourself? I hissed, fists trembling at my side. The dining table between us felt like a battlefield. You co-signed his $200,000 loan with Dad's retirement fund. Without telling me, without telling anyone. Dad shifted in his chair, his knuckles white against the armrest. His lips parted like he wanted to speak, but Mom's sharp glance silenced him. Don't be dramatic, Mom said coldly, flicking invisible dust from her sleeve. Ralph will pay it back. He has investors, connections. He has vision. My laugh came out broken, half choke, half fury. Investors? Those so-called investors pulled out months ago. I've read the filings, Mom. I dug through the public records. He's insolvent, and you gambled Dad's pension like it was pocket change. Ralph slammed the table so hard the wine glasses rattled. Stay out of my business, Nate. You wouldn't understand. You've never risked anything in your life. His words hit like acid, burning through every sacrifice I'd ever made. My silence wasn't cowardice. It was survival. And tonight, survival had teeth. Never risked anything? I whispered, then laughed bitterly, my voice rising. I risked everything for this family. When Dad collapsed, when bills drowned us, when collectors pounded on the door, you know where you were? Snorting champagne foam in Manhattan. And me? I was the one working double shifts, wiring hospital payments, covering the damn mortgage so we wouldn't lose this house. The words tumbled out, years of swallowed poison erupting. Mom's silence was louder than Ralph's arrogance. Her eyes darted between us like she was watching strangers fight. Dad. Oh, Dad. His silence was worse. His gaze stayed down, locked on the tablecloth, ashamed, because he knew. He knew every word I spoke was true. Ralph sneered. Stop painting yourself the martyr, Nate. You love playing victim, don't you? Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with being the good son, Mom might have actually believed in you. That broke something in me. Not anger, something colder, sharper. I closed my eyes, and suddenly I wasn't in the dining room anymore. I was 21 again, sitting in a hospital billing office under fluorescent lights that buzzed like angry bees. Dad lay unconscious 2 floors above after a heart attack on his route. Insurance covered barely half. Ralph? He was busy traveling for business, unreachable. I remembered the woman at the billing counter telling me in a practiced, pitying voice that if I couldn't pay, treatment might be delayed. I wired every cent of my law school savings that night. My dreams bled out so Dad could live. And 2 weeks later, when Ralph finally swaggered home with his fake business deals and shiny watch, they welcomed him like a conquering hero. Mom clapped like he'd brought Dad back from the dead. My sacrifice wasn't even a footnote. Back in the present, my hands trembled, but not from weakness, from the weight of truths I'd swallowed for too long. I leaned forward across the table, voice low, steady, dangerously steady. "You know what's funny?" I said. "All this noise about Ralph's little empire, the app, the investors, the loans. I know where the missing money went." Ralph stiffened. His smirk faltered for the first time. I reached into my folder and pulled out printed bank statements, dropping them on the table like daggers. Company funds, tens of thousands, wired directly to your personal account, lavish dinners, fake consultants, and that little BMW outside, paid with investor money. Mom blinked rapidly, her breath catching. Dad's chair creaked as he sat up straighter. I leaned closer, my voice dropping to a whisper that cut sharper than any shout. "This isn't just bad business, Ralph. It's embezzlement, felony level. And Mom?" I let the papers slide toward her trembling hands. "You co-signed fraud. The silence that followed was the kind that drowns you." "You wouldn't dare expose me," Ralph snarled, his bravado cracking. "If I go down, we all go down. You'll destroy this family." "I don't need to," I said, cold steel in my voice. "Your creditors already filed a complaint. They're circling like vultures. I just gave them the bones. Within weeks, the feds will be knocking. You wanted to play CEO? Congratulations. You're about to be a poster boy for financial crime." Mom broke down then, her composure shattering. "Nathan, please. Don't do this. He's your brother. Brother." The word felt poisoned. "He stopped being my brother," I said, rising from my chair. "When you all decided I was invisible. When my sacrifices didn't matter. I didn't destroy him, you did. I'm just letting the truth speak." Ralph shoved his chair back violently, the legs screeching against the hardwood. His face was red, veins bulging. He stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. Mom collapsed into tears. Dad finally whispered my name, reaching out like a man drowning. But I was already walking away, the papers left behind like wreckage. The night air outside tasted cleaner than any victory. For the first time in years, I felt the chains loosen. My phone buzzed, a message from Dad. "I'm sorry for everything." It wasn't enough, but it was something. Inside, I could still hear Mom's sobs echoing, Ralph's footsteps fading into the distance. That house was a mausoleum now, buried under favoritism, denial, betrayal, and I realized I wasn't angry anymore, just free. The fallout came fast. Within months, Ralph was indicted. The headlines painted him as a fraudster, the golden boy turned criminal. Mom clung to denial, lashing out at me for betraying her son. But deep down, she knew. Denial was her only refuge. Dad changed, slowly, awkwardly, painfully. He changed. He started calling, started showing up, started asking about me. Guilt was his compass now, but for the first time, it pointed in my direction. I took a job at a small law firm. Nothing glamorous, but mine, my name on the door, my paycheck earned without a handout. One evening, I stood outside the courthouse where Ralph's trial was scheduled. I didn't go inside. Justice wasn't about watching him fall. It was about proving I could finally rise. Forgiveness? Maybe someday. Not for them, for me. To walk forward unchained. Because in the end, my worth was never theirs to decide. If you were in Nathan's place, overlooked, betrayed, treated like you never mattered, would you walk away quietly? Would you fight back with the truth? Or would you try to forgive? Tell me in the comments. What would you do if your family chose a fraud over you? And if this story hit you hard, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Because sometimes the deepest revenge is simply learning to rise without them.